You say that, you know, the amendment or what they're asking for right now is 3% of their total budget.
Yeah, total annual budget.
Total annual budget.
Annually.
That is a little curious as well. Because
Why is it curious?
Because one would have thought that maybe they were supposed to pay a part of their profits. Why are they paying 3% of their budgets?
Well, that is the act. It is not me. That is the act of the NDDC. Not only them.
I'm just asking, you know, what do you think the rationale is behind paying 3% of a budget?
Well, the rationale,
instead of a percentage
no,
of
the
profits.
rationale, like you know and I know, is that our country depends on oil and gas. And you know that if the agitations and the militancy continue there, we all saw what happened recently when the militancy was picking up again, until the vice president started going around the states, and then it dropped. And so, for me, if the 3% is meant for the development of that area, I don't think there's anything curious,
I'm asking,
about it.
It's not about, what I'm asking is 3%, why 3% of the budget? Why not a percentage of their income? I beg your pardon, of their profits?
Of their
profit.
Of course, 3% of their budget at the end of the day will be their profit. 3% of their budget, How much are
we looking to rake in with this amendment that has been, you know, to the act of the NLNG?
Well, I have not looked at how much that is coming in. Our concern as legislators is that there is a law that will help the development of the host communities, of the host region. And that law should be applicable across board to all oil and gas companies. That's all.
When you talk about development of the Niger Delta, I mean, the NDDC has been in existence also for a while. Would you say that it's also been living up to its mandate?
That's a different kettle of fish altogether. It's a different ball game for today.
But it's an important kettle of fish. For today,
yes, it's important. It's important. You see, when people ask these questions of whether they have done well, the blame will not go to only those who are currently managing it. NDDC is not a state government affair. NDDC is established by an act of parliament of the federation. NDDC is being monitored and supervised by the federal government. Before now, the office of the secretary to government. But from last year, they have been moved to the office of the minister of the Minister for Niger Delta Affairs. And so the success or failure of NDDC, the blame particularly, will not be shared by governors of the Niger Delta. It will certainly be placed at the doorsteps of the federal government. Whether the federal government is actually monitoring, whether the federal government is actually supervising the NDDC and the implementation of the budget is actually being done. But that does not actually exclude also the state government, because if the NDDC is not performing, and I'm sure a lot of state governors have been shouting about the lack of implementation of the NDDC budget. And the NDDC itself will tell you that it's because their resources are not coming.
Because people have to be careful that we're not, you know, maintaining a basket in the NDDC, and they were just pouring more water into it and not caring how, you know, whether or not the water is leaking out or whether or not the water is being retained.
Well, for me, who is a representative of the people from the Niger Delta, I am one person who do not believe in interventionist agencies. I believe that the destiny of the people should be in their own hands. I believe that the federal government has no business coming in there to collect all the money and then giving interventionist agencies like the NDDC and a paltry 13%. My take has been that the states, the communities will approximate their own powers as a federal system and then pay tax to the federal government. So that way, the communities will see the international oil companies as partners in business. That way, there will be security. That way, there will be peace. But where you have a federal government that has turned it to be a unitary system of government that collects all the funds and grants a paltry 13% and brings in interventionist agencies that are also being nose-directed and controlled by federal government, that's where the problem is.
So you do not even see that this amendment is going to have any impact?
That's where the problem is. That's the way I feel. That's the way I feel. So if you allow me, for us to make a headway in the oil and gas industry, is for us to give it back to where, like every other resources, can be found in any place. It could be limestone, it could be gas, it could be oil. If it is found, pay, even if it is 50% of tax, pay it to the federal government. And then you deal with those who, from where you are collecting these resources, so that the communities are part of it, the local governments are part of it, the state governments are part of it. So that at the end of the day, they will own these things and see them as their own. The practice of federal government collecting everything, and then at the end of every month, we all come to Abuja to do what they call FAC, Federal Allocations Committee. We are coming to share money at the end of every month. That is the bane of our federation.
If that is the case, then why do you think that, why are we pushing for this amendment?
Well, we are stuck for now. We are stuck for now, and this amendment is part of trying to ease, both for the company and for the people of the region, because there are agitations. This amendment was not just done like that. There was a public hearing on this amendment, and all those who came from the community supported it, all, including where the NLNG is operating, the Bonny community, supported the amendment.